Sunday, fun day. Gonna have a laugh today. It's Sunday, fun day. Ed Wedge, C, gold. Well, then there's a whole bunch together. Kristen, Jorge, looks like silver and bronze. What's going on, everybody? As always, not always, but as I have been doing as of late, I have Active Minds attached for a little fundraising fun. For anybody out there who doesn't know who Active Minds is, they're an incredible organization, nonprofit. I'm an ambassador for. They provide mental health resources and education on about 1,500 college campuses and high school campuses around the country. And I think they're wonderful. I think trying to address mental health at the earliest of ages is a fantastic thing, particularly at those very formative years in high school and college. And so if you find yourself so led, please make a little donation. And if you don't, and if you don't, that's totally fine too. I would always encourage everyone out there to find a nonprofit philanthropic effort that somebody's doing out there to align yourself with, to give back into the world, to use your time, treasure, or talent to help make other people's lives even just a little bit better. That's all I will say on that. Thank you. We've already raised $75. Hey! I didn't really put a goal on there. It just kind of gives you a $100 default. So it looks like we're going to reach that goal pretty quick. But apparently this fundraiser even goes like for 30 days or something. So, if you guys find yourself so inclined, then pop in. What's up? Hi, everybody. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've done a live. You know that I love spending time with you and talking about things, unpacking various bits and bobs of life. The thing that I wanted to talk about today, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and I'll open it up for some questions and stuff too, is in fact the strike, the WGA now combined with SAG strike. This thing that has basically, we're in the midst of it. Anybody in my industry, we are all kind of, rolling through this crazy time together. And a lot of people outside of our industry, I've seen have a lot of questions, or a lot of people make a lot of comments, and I think comments that are unfortunately misguided or uninformed, particularly those people who think that somehow this is like millionaires, crying about making more millions of dollars, and nothing could be farther from the truth. I reposted my friend Luke Cook's video that he did today, earlier on, and he kind of breaks it down, I think, pretty well. But just to kind of recap, 95%, so 5% of the actors in the Screen Actors Guild can pay for their lives. They can survive with just acting alone. 95% of the rest of the actors in the Screen Actors Guild cannot do that. They have to have some side hustle or multiple side hustles, or multi-hyphenate themselves. These are things that, by the way, we've been tracking for a while. These are things where myself, I'm so grateful and I am so blessed that I fall, at least at this point, I still fall in that 5%. I've been able to be an actor, and only an actor, and pay for my life and thrive in this life. And I've been able to take care of my friends and my family along the way. And I am so grateful that God has given me that position, that platform, that privilege. And I intend to continue to use that and leverage it and bring good into the world. And I hope you guys will continue to want to support me in whatever it is that I'm doing as an actor or otherwise. But you have to recognize that what's at stake here is not just a bunch of privileged people trying to hold on to their privilege or get more privilege. We have studios that have, listen, I think Hollywood is like every other industry in that the bottom line, the money, is unfortunately the most important thing to everyone's agenda at the top. Everyone at the top, all the studios, the networks, they're all about how much more money can we make? How much more money can we make? How much more money can we make? And from a business standpoint, obviously, you're always trying to grow your business. You're always trying to do well as a business. You're always trying to make more money as a business. I understand that, but it should never be made at the expense of the people that are making you that money. And it used to be that things actually worked a lot better. It used to be before they were streaming, and the only actual, kind of places that you would be able to find content was on a movie screen or on a television through network or cable television. It used to be that as a journeyman actor, as somebody that was top of show, guest star here, guest star there, you could actually make a decent living. You could live as an actor. And all of those residuals, all of those ways in which actors and people within the arts, other artists, even crews, our stunt departments who are also tied to SAG, our writers and their residuals, these have all continued. They've just been negotiated away. And it's been the industry standard to basically take whatever the latest technology is and basically say, well, this isn't covered under the contract, so we can pay you whatever it is that we feel like paying you. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Not only are all of our residuals very much at stake because we don't have the regular model anymore. That's all a huge part of what we're fighting for right now and what we're standing in solidarity about. But another thing, and I think something that everybody really needs to take notice of, is artificial intelligence. AI is just, we're at the tip of the iceberg, and we're already seeing jobs basically kind of replaced. Is AI at its highest potential level yet? No, thank God it's not. I'm of the mind that if we don't, you can't stop this progress, but we are charged with shaping it, with fostering it, with guiding it. And if we don't guide it correctly, we're all fucked. That's really ultimately the truth. And there's a really worst case scenario where we're all fucked because AI actually becomes sentient and decides to go replicate itself and take over all the machines, and we're Skyneted like Terminator. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about all the stuff that's going to lead up to that. Right now, if a studio executive wanted to, they could go use ChatGPT. They could type in some keywords. Hey, I want a script about this type of a thing. Enter. Boom, they've got a script. Is it a great one? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not anywhere near the quality that an actual human being would create, but it's getting there, guys. It's getting there. In not too short a time, the written word, whether it's scripts for movies or televisions or music, that's already changing the landscape of music, all of that can easily be replaced with artificial intelligence. More than that, as some of you have probably seen in some of the posts, either here on Instagram or Twitter or elsewhere, the studios are proposing to our background actors, at least right now, they're proposing that a background actor could come in, get paid one single time, their body would be scanned, and therefore the studio would then own a version, a digital likeness of that person that they can use in perpetuity, forever. Meaning that once graphics, which they kind of already get photorealistic enough, you're not going to have to use human beings actually anymore. And this will start with our background actors, and this will eventually work its way to all of the other performers that are the people that would be normally making this television and these movies. This is real. This is not some crazy sky is falling nonsense. This is truly, genuinely right around the corner. In fact, even if we get these negotiations to go as well as we possibly could hope that they go, I don't know that by the next time these negotiations come back around, any of it's going to make any difference anyway, unless we really learn how to guide, how to foster artificial intelligence. We are right now at the precipice of being able to replace many people. Now, if you're in charge and you want all the money, that's a great thing. That's less human beings that you need to give a fuck about. That's less money you're going to have to pay, because you don't have to pay artificial intelligence really anything. it will workhorse for you all day long. You could eventually, there will be programs where not only can you say, hey, write me this script, but also I want the actors playing the roles to be these types of people, existing people, or completely fictitious people made up. We'll get to that in a second. And then you can also say, and I want it shot in the stylings of whatever, Steven Spielberg or Robert Zemeckis or both, or Stephen King, or, and all of these things, computers can go and scour the internet for and find all of the data points that they need to recreate all of this. So in not too short a time, and I just want to make this very clear, in not too short a time, technically, we will be able to make a movie, make a TV show, make music. Right now, music's already kind of there, but make all of this art and not actually require any human being to do it. Maybe the human beings required to do the typing, but even that will eventually get automated, or the executives themselves will do it, or whatever the case may be. But rest assured, they will be looking for every opportunity to not have to pay a human. They will look for every opportunity, because guess what? That's good for their bottom line. More money, more money, more money, more money, more money, more money. And this is the inherent problem with industry at large across the world. They do not care about human life. They don't care about really life in general. They care about profits. It's always profit over people and not the other way around. So mark my words, if we don't do something drastic, right now we're doing something very drastic, and we need to be doing this very drastic thing. We need to be striking. We should have done this years ago. I wish that we would have. I wish that the last time the WGA and SAG got together and struck wasn't in the 60s or whenever the heck that was, or 60 years ago. I can't remember the exact situation, but it was a long ass time ago. And by the way, and when we did, it worked very well for everybody, because we held our ground and we said, no, you are not going to devalue us and our time, knowing full well that they are all making hand over fist money, like tons and tons and tons of money. The entertainment industry racking up dough, racking in dough. If these CEOs can make the many, 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 many millions of dollars that they're making, if the producers can make the many, 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 many millions of dollars that they are making, there is plenty of money to go around. There is plenty of money to take care of every single person on that set, to give them a livable wage. More than a livable wage, a very comfortable wage. There's enough there. But you got to have a conscience. And so I implore every single one of you out there, executives of the studios, and the producers that are all involved in these negotiations, for the love of God, please dig deep into your conscience. Ask yourself, what is truly fair? What is truly right? What is right? Because this won't be the end. We're in the middle of this right now, but this is not going to be the end. And to that effect, I think that it's going to be important, not just that we hold strong and we get through this strike, but ladies and gentlemen, we're going to require, it's very much going to need, it's going to require all of you, all of you out there who don't work in the industry, but partake of the industry. All of you out there that like watching movies and TV shows and listening to music, playing video games, any bit, or really any job for that matter, any vocation, but since I'm in the arts, I'll speak for the arts. It's going to require you choosing very soon. It's going to require you choosing, do I want to support computer-generated content, AI, algorithmed content that may look amazing, may even have great scripts and great digital actors and great digital directors and all that, could be incredible. No doubt. We're going to get there where it's almost indiscernible. But we have to be the ones to discern that. We have to be able to say, oh, this is from humans and this is not from humans. And I really believe that we're going to have to make the conscious decision to support the humans. And not just, we're in the arts now, but eventually this is going to spill into a lot of other things. And if we are not supporting each other, fellow humans, and we are paying the large corporations for their computer-generated content or products or whatever it is, and more human beings are being taken out of the equation, We are in for dire straits. Like, ladies and gentlemen, dire straits. And I know this might, again, sound crazy. I know this might sound like, oh, that's not going to happen for 50 years. Sorry, guys, I don't think it's going to take that long. Still good? All right, somebody was calling me. Now we're good. I don't think we have 50 years. I'm not even sure we have 10, to be perfectly honest. Oh, there you go. The 1960 strike resulted in the 1980 strike result. Yeah, there you go. In 1680. So yeah, I cannot implore you enough, regardless of what happens with these negotiations. We have to move forward supporting actual human beings. It's going to take all of us. We have to get to the bottom of, hey, that movie over there, that was AI, still cool, whatever, but we're not blessing, we're not helping human artists in that pursuit. Find the art, the content that is created by and for human beings. It is what we're going to need to do. We're all going to have to make that decision. And by the way, and if you don't, but still your prerogative, it's your right, but if you don't know that, if you don't decide to choose that, if you don't decide to support human-generated content, then all of those humans will eventually become obsolete. All of those humans will not be able to make a living wage. All of them will eventually phase out of doing whatever that job is. And now all you will be left with is computer-generated content. And like I said, it might be really dazzly and cool and shiny, and it might even be done really, really well. But you have to ask yourself, if I'm not supporting these guys in their jobs, at what point is this AI going to come for my job? Because it will. Eventually it will. And the reason why is because, guys, it's cheap. It's all about money. It's all about bottom line. Once all the fast food restaurants figure out they can put kiosks in there and not actually and automate all the cooking, and they don't need a human being, those jobs are gone. Not just fast food, restaurants in general, food in general. Agriculture is already getting there. The very cool technology that can go and plow fields and seed fields and harvest fields and all that stuff. The amount of manpower that used to take that is now done by robots, which again, it's like, wow, that's really cool. That's a cool thing. But also, it's destroying an entire job market. Management, I mean, pick the job. Eventually, the jobs that are actually going to hold on the longest, I believe, are super manual labor jobs that are going to require a very special automated machine / robot, perhaps even created by a Boston Dynamics, right? That's going to go in and do those very specific physical jobs. But everybody else's job, I don't know what you do, but I implore you to just do the mental exercise and ask yourself, how easy would it be for my job to be replaced by a robot? How easy would it be for my job to ultimately just become an algorithm within artificial intelligence that might do the job very, very, very well? But now you don't have a job, and I don't have a job, and they don't have a job, and they don't have a job. And therefore nobody's making any kind of income in order to support themselves. So then what? Where do we go from there? I don't know if you all watch Black Mirror. I highly recommend that you do. I believe it should be required viewing for all people, because it is a terrifying, but I think very sober glimpse into what the future could become if we don't do the things we need to do in order to guide technology, in order to guide progress. We got to start doing this, guys. This is not a drill. This is not Chicken Little. This is real. This is really, really, really where we're at. So that's it. That's all I got, I guess, on that rant, unless there's any questions that anybody has specifically about, yes, love that show, Tay Holmes. Yeah, it is terrifying. It is terrifying. I didn't really love the last season of it, whatever season that was. But the first episode of this season was pretty spot on and deals kind of with what's going on in entertainment right now, which I found to be good, because people need to understand that. Vanessa Ramos, I love you too. I really can't wait. I can't wait to watch Oppenheimer. I've heard very good things about that. My favorite color, I don't know what my favorite color is. Probably, it kind of changes, but I'm into neons. I like hot pink, hot blue, hot yellow, hot green. I'm just an 80s child. Am I going to be attending Fan Expo in Toronto if the strike is still on? Right now, I had some press that was actually potentially going to take me out of going, but I can't do that press now because of the strike. So I don't know. Stay tuned on Toronto. As of right now, for any and all of you out there, as of right now, my schedule, I'm supposed to go to Manchester for a convention coming up soon, and then the next week I'm in Boston. The next weekend I'm in Boston for a convention, and the next weekend after that I'm in Chicago for a convention. I'm still planning on attending these conventions, as I stated on Twitter earlier today, I think. As far as I know, and I've got it on good authority, that from a convention standpoint, it's really the promotional publicity conventions, a la San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, things where the studio or the network would be bringing us actors in to go promote a current project. Those are the ones that are definitely off the table. But a traditional fan convention, the Fan Expos, the Fan X in Salt Lake, Reed Pop, anything that is a traditional fan convention, those should still all be kosher. I'm still making sure of this. I have no intention of crossing any picket lines, but also on the same token, on the other side of that coin, I don't know what metaphor or an or I was going for, but as I stated on Twitter, it is very short-sighted if our SAG leadership doesn't understand that going to a convention, an actor going to a fan convention, has nothing to do with the studios. We go representing our body of work. I'm not going to any of these conventions because I'm promoting Shazam, or I'm promoting Chuck, or I'm promoting anything else for that matter. I'm going to have interactions with you guys. I'm going to have that special, like that time where if you're an actor on Broadway, you get to interact with your audience in real time. You share that love in that real time, in that space. But if you're doing television and film, the only way to close that loop and to really be in contact with and connection with your fan base, I find, is to go and do conventions. And it's a great supplementary source of income for actors all across the board, voice actors, live action actors, stunt actors, personalities in general. It's been for decades a great place to engage with your fan base and get a supplementary form of income. One that has become even more important right now because actors are striking those particular works, the actual work. So the logic to me should be, we shouldn't be doing anything. We should do everything we can to make sure that the studios are not benefiting in this time. We are galvanizing and we are saying, no, you're not going to get more right now. That's why we're striking. That's why we're not going to go write for you, and that's why we're not going to go act for you right now. But there are a lot of these little categories that, like these conventions, fan conventions, me or anyone else appearing at a fan convention has nothing to do with the studio. The studio is not benefiting at all. They don't get a cut of any of it. It is solely for the fans and for the actors and the performers. So, that's my 2 cents on that. And I am trying to get messages to Fran Drescher and the leadership at SAG-AFTRA to make sure they understand that they should not be penalizing performers in this time simply because they haven't really done the math on how these conventions work. Because I can assure you, that's how they work. These are not promotional for the studios. These are all previous work and us being able to go and interact with our fan base in a really wonderful way. So there's that as far as the conventions is concerned. And then as far as podcasts, I also do not fully understand why one, as of right now, again, the wordage I'm not entirely sure on, but that one couldn't go and do, for example, like I want to do a Chuck rewatch podcast. I've been trying to do it for a while. I was planning on actually going and doing it next month. But obviously, I'm not trying to be a scab. I'm not trying to cross a line. But I need to understand why me going and doing a rewatch podcast about a show that went off the air over 10 years ago is somehow going to be benefiting the studio. I did see someone on Twitter, they made a valid point of, well, what if by doing the podcast, you're driving viewership for, those episodes on whatever the streamer is. Listen, I get that. I understand that. I don't believe that most of the people who are going to be listening to whatever, let's say just the Chuck Rewatch podcast, I don't think most of those people that will watch that don't already have subscriptions to these streamers, particularly for the shows that they like. So you would already have a subscription to Max or Amazon or wherever, Chuck is viewable. So if you're already subscribed to the streamer, then they're not making money on the extra view and the extra view. That's just not how that works. If you don't have that streaming account, and now you love the podcast so much that now you're going to go sign up to go get that account, that would be that podcast leading to an account, sign up sale or whatever. But I think that would be very, very, very few and far between. I do not believe that is somehow going to manifest in all of these, us talking about old shows is somehow going to manifest in all of a sudden these streamers making millions and millions and millions and millions of more dollars because somebody who was already a fan, who probably already had the account, is listening to or watching this podcast. That's my 2 cents on all that. Like I said, I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it. I'm trying to make the best and wisest decisions always that I can. Supporting my fellow actors, supporting my fellow writers, and, fighting for what's right. Anybody, if you followed me for any amount of time, that's what I'm about. Even when I put my foot in my mouth, even when I say things that are very true but unpopular, it's because I'm fighting for what I believe is right in this world. And I think right now, to link arms with my fellow artists and to strike against the powers that be, some of which are wonderful people. Many of them are not. Which is not to say that they are evil, but they are captured in their evil cycle. They are captured in their selfish, greedy infrastructure of the way that they want this industry to work. And they're not doing enough about it. They're not actually being fair and looking at the way the money all gets cut up and shared and going, hey, y'all, if we paid them all more then, and we're making more money now than we made then why can't we pay them what we used to pay these people? Why can't we give them those residuals? And it's because of just fucking greed. I don't know how else to put it, but that's what it is. They want more money. Every industry, the heads of every industry, they get lost in this same very sad cycle. More money, more money, more money, more money, more money, more money, more money. And it's killing the world. It's killing all of our jobs. It's killing our communities. It's killing our earth, because nothing's more important than making more money. So that's all that. Hello, Australia! Best of luck with the strike. Thank you. I appreciate that. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how all this all shakes out, I want it to be I hope that now that SAG has joined the fight, it's going to be quick or quicker. I hope that this resolves quicker. I hope that the studios recognize that we mean business, and we're going to hold out as long as possible, because this is not okay. Any advice for somebody who wants to become an actor? You always want to be an actor. Listen, my advice for anyone who wants to become an actor, and really my advice, it's the same advice I would give anybody for wanting to become anything, which is go to therapy. Go and work on yourself. Go be the best version of you, because the best version of you is going to ultimately be the best actor, the best writer, the best director, the best sandwich artist, the best manager, the best COO. I don't know. Pick your job. the best you is best at that job. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. And then beyond that, go find a great acting class, great acting workshop where you're working with a great acting coach, acting teacher who brings in casting directors or managers or people for a showcase that has a legitimate showcase, because you can be the most talented person in the world, but if nobody ever sees that talent, it's going to be tough to go and succeed. So try and set yourself up to keep working on your talent and for that talent to be seen. And there are some legitimate acting workshops, acting coaches out there that have legitimate showcases. So yeah, look into that. Green Lantern, yeah, Nathan Fillion is Green Lantern. Well, he's a version of Green Lantern. I'm so excited for him. It's really cool that we'll be, reintroducing that into the whole world of DC. Wow, these messages are coming fast, so excuse me. Have I ever done staged theater? Yes, I've done Broadway. Oh, I grew up doing lots and lots of theater. And then I have done Broadway a couple of times, and I intend to go and do more at some point. I don't know when, I don't know how, or what the show's going to be, but I'd love to. All right, same question as I have one. Chuck movie, still working on the Chuck movie. Tweeted that earlier. This podcast, the idea was to kind of use it as a way to really get everybody activated, all the Chucksters around the world, get you guys activated, get the data behind it so I can bring that to the execs over at Warner Brothers and say, hey, look at this audience. They really want a Chuck movie. Let's bring them one. So that's still the goal. Return to Hallmark movies. Well, listen, Remember Sunday was a really fun one. I'm really glad I got to do that. And if anybody hasn't checked that out, I highly recommend. It's a really delightful little movie. Me and Alexis Bledel, and some other very talented actors, and we shot it in New Orleans years and years ago, and very proud of that. Have I tried Bluebonnet Pie from Marble Falls yet? No. Is it amazing? It sounds amazing. Everything about that sounds amazing. Greetings from Mexico. Hey, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está usted? Bien? Any more musicals for me? Like I said, I hope so. I mean, I'd like to go back to Broadway and not do a musical for once. I'd like to just do a straight play, be it a comedy or a drama. I just would love to check that off. But yes, eventually getting back to musicals and stuff as well. I would love to do that. Because I love singing. I love it so much. Yes, and the Liberty Mutual guy. That's correct. What else? Any other questions? Veo pies. All right. Veo pies. Oh, dumb question. No, it's not a dumb question. Does stage acting count as crossing the picket line? As far as I know, no. That is a completely other union. That is there's an actors union, actors equity, for stage stuff, and then there's the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, for film and television. So stage is still kicking. All my friends who are in Broadway shows or touring shows are all still doing those shows. So go out, go see them, go support them. By the way, whether we're in a strike or not, go support local theater. Go support local theater, go support touring theater. If you get an opportunity to go to New York and actually see Broadway, go support Broadway. If you get a chance to go to London and see the West End, go support it there. Go support it wherever you can. I mean, that's the beginning of and the basis of all that we do on stage, or on screen anyway. So Twinkies or Ding Dongs? I'm gonna have to go Ding Dongs on that, but really neither. They're horrible for you. Do you remember? Yes, I do remember when I was Kip Stedman. How many of you remember when I was Kip Stedman? That was many, many moons ago, but I loved Less Than Perfect. I loved my time at Less Than Perfect and the family I took from that, who are still my family even now. Andrea Parker, one of my favorite people on the entire planet. All right. Any other questions? Independent films. They are going to make some waivers and some exceptions to some independent films. I don't know how much or exactly how that process is going to go, but that could be something that actors could continue to do during this time, from what I understand. I have not seen The Sound of Freedom yet. I am looking forward to seeing it, though. I've heard it's very powerful. It's a very powerful movie. Yeah, listen, y'all. Definitely worth talking about, because I've seen some really crazy feedback or articles that have been written about The Sound of Freedom, namely that somehow it's like, and again, I haven't seen the movie, but I know the movie is about like real people who are doing real things, saving lives, pulling children out of sex trafficking, human sex trafficking, which is a very real and very nefarious problem in this world. It's one of the biggest problems we have in this world. And yet there are articles being written that are kind of essentially saying this is all trumped up and nonsense and overblown, and this isn't the problem that we have. Y'all, listen, I got no dog in the hunt. I'm not affiliated with that movie at all, but I can assure you that human trafficking and sex trafficking, particularly of minors, of children, is a huge problem. So a movie like Sound of Freedom is not just like, making a mountain out of a molehill. It's a movie that's supposed to be shining a light, showing everybody, hey, this is real. This is really happening. So first and foremost, guard, protect, love your children to ensure that they're not going to somehow get swept up in all of this. But it's a lot of minorities. It's a lot of immigrant children coming to this country that somehow just don't make it to their destination and instead are grabbed and taken into these sex trafficking rings. It's real. So let's not bury our heads in the sand. You don't want to go see the movie. You don't want to go see the movie. That's totally fine. But let's not pretend like what they're talking about is somehow not absolutely happening right now. Like right fucking now. It is happening. And it needs to not happen. It is I can't even think of a worse thing, to be honest. I can't think of a worse thing than adults preying upon, trafficking, raping, selling children left, right, and center. Like, it's the worst possible thing I can think of, honestly. And it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be solved. And that requires shining the light, using movies, television, content to do it, and holding our leaders accountable, because that's what's up. That's what's up. Music on my mind says, how am I doing today? Pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I am someone who, there's a lot of existential thoughts and questions that I'm always mulling over, as I am wont to do, because I genuinely want to make this world a better place. And so I'm always trying to find ways in which we can do that I can do that I can help other people do that. So, that can kind of put me into those spots a lot. And with this strike and just, assessing my life and my career and what I want to do, there's a lot of that stuff going on, but I feel like I'm in a really blessed place in my life, have been for quite some time. And I try to focus on that and be grateful in that and keep working toward being my best me, So, and I've got this beautiful place that I get to call home that is just so stunning. I mean, look at that. Well, you can't really see the reflection, but anyway. So thank you for asking. I'm well. Just trying to keep figuring out this crazy world, Gabe Logan. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate all that love. And by the way, I feel that too, I definitely do. When I find myself struggling with some darkness or thoughts of like, do I keep fighting for things that I stand for? Do I keep trying to love people, even the ones that hate me? Keep fighting for what's right. And I get beat down. I get beat down by a lot of the people on social media who think somehow it's cool or good to bombard my Twitter feed or my DMs with just hate. And it sucks because you're like, wow, like that's a grown ass person. Like I see some of the profiles, like they're grown ass men. Most of them grown ass men. There are women that engage in this behavior too, but mostly men. And it's sad, you know, because I really don't have anything against them. I really don't. I really want everybody to just love each other, and I really want to make the best content, and I want to honor the audience by making the best possible content, and I want to honor the people making the content. That's what the strike is about. We need to honor the people who make the fucking content. We need to pay the artists what they are worth, and they are worth far more than what they are getting right now. So yeah, you know, but all that love that you guys continue to give me, the messages that you're sending me right now and reminding me of that love, it definitely helps carry me through when I'm ready to pack it all up and be like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. But yeah, thank you for that. Met me at the Today Show in 2013. That was solid 10 years ago. Well, thank you. I'm glad we had a good interaction then. Normally we get hustled in and out of those places real quick, you know, so I'm glad anytime I have at least a moment where I can, you know, do some siggies and take some photos and say some hellos, and yeah, glad that was a good experience for you. Yeah, by the way, Charlotte, just bringing up mental health, again, I will reiterate, right now, fundraiser for Active Minds. If you're just tuning in, incredible organization dedicated to bringing mental health resources and awareness to students and faculty over many, I think it's 1,500 schools across the nation. I could be getting that number wrong. Somebody from Active Minds message me and remind me, but over college campuses and high school campuses. And that is so needed. And y'all, mental health is the most important thing. I don't know how I don't know how to stress it enough. You know, our ability to be of service in this world is all predicated upon how much we are first loving and taking care of ourselves. So we've got to start there. We've got to start by loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves, valuing ourselves, practicing, you know, real and solid self-care. And recognize that all of the wonderful things that come from getting your head and heart healed are immense. It's immense, the amount of things that come from that. But it requires us doing that work first. And when we don't do that work, all of that stuff, it doesn't go away. All of the trauma you've experienced in your life, all of the pains, all of the hurts, all of the things that sit in there that you think maybe you've dealt with, but maybe you haven't. If you haven't actually gone and worked through that, talked through that. By the way, plant medicine, that's another huge thing, and I'm a huge advocate of. I don't know where everybody stands on all of it, but I can assure you that particularly with the most recent data, things like psilocybin, CBD, THC, LSD, ketamine, DMT, when used responsibly and correctly and with a guide, can be so unbelievably powerfully healing in your mind, in your heart, in your body. So I would encourage people who are looking to really reset their minds, like to really try to overcome roadblocks. Plant medicine has proven to be an incredible avenue for getting through a lot of your mental and emotional roadblocks. Again, I am not encouraging anyone to just go grab stuff off the street and go do whatever. I'm encouraging you to go and research and source people, professionals, guides who deal with this stuff on a regular basis and who understand the attributes, qualities, power of these various modalities, of these various compounds, and that can guide you through true therapeutic session using a variety of these various plant medicines and modalities. It's real, it's true, the data is there to back it up. We got to destigmatize this shit, guys. We got to destigmatize it. It's not good for us. It's not good that All of it was demonized back in the 60s. We've lost decades and decades of true science that could have been done in all of this time that would have brought us to understanding all of these things decades ago and utilizing them to create a healthier and a happier populace. So there's that. Also, yes, Huberman does talk about this. Yes, listen to Andrew Huberman, Huberman Lab, fantastic podcast. Highly recommend. The guy is just a font of knowledge and very helpful for understanding how our bodies work, how our minds work, how various substances affect our minds and our bodies. So, Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Breakfast Club. Come on, that's impossible. I would say I'm going to have to go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's so tough, though. Breakfast Club is so fantastic. They're both so fantastic, but I'm going to have to go with Ferris. But like John Hughes, everything. I mean, I don't know. Like, he was the best. He was so good. Favorite place I've traveled to. I don't know. I really like tropical spots. Hawaii, Costa Rica, the Caribbean. I don't know. I like wearing as little clothing as possible. I like wearing tank tops and flip-flops and board shorts, and being in sun and water. Just, that's my jam. So anywhere that kind of provides all of that stuff, I'm super about. What else? What else can I answer? What other burning questions do any of you have in your back bucket? What's the status of my community in OK? Not happening at the moment, unfortunately. Some very interesting parties. I still would love to go build this movie studio, living community resort. That's what Wildwood is. That's what I want to do in this world. I want to go create communities and take care of people and give them better lives, particularly in the arts and sciences of entertainment, because that's my world and that's where I feel most called to be a leader and be a help. But I'd love to build one of these campuses in Tulsa or somewhere in Oklahoma, but the filming incentives need to be there robustly first, and ones that we can depend on, that have a runway. In order to go build movie studios, it's a lot of money, and you want to go build movie studios, and then all the filming incentives go away, and nobody wants to film in that state anymore. And that's kind of how it all goes right now. The studios, in an attempt to put more money in their own pockets, and this one, understandably so. If you have a place that says, hey, if you come and film here, we will incentivize you to do that. We will give you X amount of dollars back because you're bringing money into our economy. I think that can be a cool thing when done responsibly, and when done with the utmost, I think, integrity and responsibility. But so, in order to really take advantage of that, those incentives need to be good, and they need to stick around for a while. And if I can find places where that's going on, potentially even in Georgia, because the incentives there have remained very good, and I think they're going to stay there, then I'd love to build communities in these places. But I don't know about Oklahoma right now, unfortunately. Do I visit Ventura? Heck yeah, I still visit Ventura. It's my hometown. My sisters are still there. My nephews have a lot of love for Ventucky, as we affectionately call it. What's up, that Megan Drip? I love when I'm just like in the middle of a live and my friends just pop in. It's real fun. Oh, does my battery die? Oh, guys, I thought my battery, my external battery was full, but it's not. So I don't know how long this live is going to last because my phone might die. Do I like Taylor Swift? I love Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. And you can tell T Swift I said so. I think she's, I don't know, a genius, really. I mean, if you think about it. Not that she didn't have a lot of help along the way from her dad and the beginnings and, whatever, fine. But she's built an empire, a literal empire. And she's been very smart and savvy in the ways that she's done it. And she continues to make great fucking music. So, yeah, big big Swiftie fan. Although I haven't been able to go see her in concert because that's impossible. Maybe one day. My favorite Flow product. Honestly, I love I love all of our products. Marcus and JR and myself, we set out and have held to. We're only making the best. We're not cutting corners. We're not putting the best ingredients we can put in there. And the formulations might be better or worse depending on what your diet is, or if you have intolerances to certain things. We try to make it as good as we can for as many people as possible. But all of the product is so good. If you guys haven't had a chance to go check it out, at Flow Sups, FLOWSUPPS, we've got protein and pre-workout, greens, collagen, hydrate, energy, shroomies. We've got NAC, and we've got NMN coming, guys. And NMN, it's going to be a very expensive supplement, just for what it's worth. But the amount of incredible ingredients that we're putting into it, really, that stuff alone, if you put it all together, it's worth at least twice as much as what we're charging. It is, but for all intents and purposes, NMN is kind of like, it's like the fountain of youth in a lot of ways. It activates your body in such incredible ways, restorative, reparative ways, that the hype is real. I mean, it's super good, and we've got an incredibly pure NMN blend that's got other active ingredients that really just kind of enhance that experience. But highly recommend checking all that out when you get a chance. Personally, what I use the most of and what I like the most of is our protein, because I often need to just have a protein shake. I don't always need the pre-workout. My energy levels are pretty good. I get a lot of my nutrients and collagens even from my diet, but I will still use the greens and collagen, because they're, first of all, they taste fantastic. Well, the collagen doesn't taste, which is fantastic, but it's got the teeniest little bit of sweet. So mixing it into your tea or your coffee is just choice. Our hydrate is one of the best on the market, using Himalayan sea salt and lots of other electrolytes, and not just giving you something that's full of a bunch of filler and sugar, which a lot of other hydrates do. Our shroomies blend is fantastic. And again, these are all things that you can mix and match. Go look at other products that are on the market, and you can see where ours is superior. It really does come down to the lack of proprietary blend fillers. We don't use any of that stuff. We use just pure, awesome ingredients and products. So, yeah, go check it out. FlowSups, at FlowSups, or FlowSups.com. Definitely worth it. Hello Italy, hello Chile. All right, I'm gonna give this, what is that, 8-11 now. I'll give this a little bit. Oh, Brandon, Angie and Brandon. Hi guys. What was that? Advice for a stressed out student in their last year of high school. Oh. Whew. I mean, that's big. You're in a big moment in your life. But an awesome one. So, best advice I could give you is, the best advice I could give you is something that I like to tell people in the beginning of their high school career, which is, don't give a shit about being cool, being popular. Don't for 1 second think that even the best of your friends in high school will necessarily be the best of your friends 10 years from now, 20 years from now, which is not to say they're not wonderful people, but lives go in so many different directions for so many different reasons. People go off to different colleges. They even if you go to the same college, you go off to different careers. You live in different places. You get married potentially. You have kids potentially. So let go of all of those preconceived notions or expectations. Recognize that you are yourself in a very transitional point in your life where anything's possible and everything is possible. And that's fucking awesome. So take the pressure off yourself. Go dive into where you feel most led to go. If that's into going to university straight out, go to university. If that means going to a community college first, and by the way, paying far less money for the first 2 years of college and basically getting the same education, which is what I recommend if you're going to go and do extended education. Go do those 2 years of community college, save that money, then go to university and, get whatever degree or, whatever you might need. Or going straight into the workforce and getting an apprenticeship with something that you are passionate about, but try to take the pressure off yourself. You're still young. You've got so much life to live, and you don't have to have it all figured out. But stay on top of your life. Like, genuinely, don't. It's a balance of not taking things too seriously, but also taking them seriously. You take yourself seriously. Take your life seriously. Enjoy it. Find all the play. Find all of the joy and the happy and the fun. Find all that you can. But recognize that it requires us being responsible and putting hard work in and not waiting for other people to do the work for us and not waiting for other people to somehow come and save us from our circumstances, or to blame for our circumstances. A lot of people are just waiting for people to blame for their circumstances, and they want to maintain that victim mentality. That is the worst thing you can do. So yeah, that's what I would. That's my advice for someone in the last year of high school. What else? What else we got? Pickle Rick. I do love me some Rick and Morty. No doubt about it. Getting a lot of hellos. It was my favorite chipmunk. Guys, I almost went walking on you there. Come on. Guys, Simon is the best, really. I like Simon the most. I like Simon because he's the nerd of the group, but he's the most responsible. Like, I love Theodore. He's so cuddly and, just biggest heart of the three, but kind of a dum-dum and definitely not responsible. Alvin is, showboating narcissist, has the first letter of his name on his sweater, but irresponsible. He starts problems that Simon ultimately needs to try and figure out, or Toby does, or Dave does. But anyway, what else we got? Favorite food? Pizza. What? Time remaining. They start cutting these off now? What? No, really? Have they always been doing this? I feel like I've been cut off before, but I feel like I had a lot more time. Well, guys, it looks like we've got 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. So to sum up, for anybody who's just getting here, love yourself. You're worthy of that love. Keep working on that love so you can be more effective in loving others and being a leader in this world and making positive change in the world. If you don't already associate with or support a nonprofit, go find one. It is a great thing to be doing in your life. It enriches your life, your soul, you as a human being. Trust me on that. Going and doing good for others, helping others live better, healthier, happier lives, using our talent, time, or treasure is a wonderful thing to do. The strike is absolutely, the industry strike, SAG and writer strike is absolutely necessary. We should all be standing with it. I don't know. Somebody asked me earlier, what can you do with somebody outside of the industry? I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I would say that, as I said before, we have to start really identifying the content that is truly made by humans and supporting that content. Because this strike notwithstanding, even if we get somewhere good with this strike, AI will eventually start taking everybody's jobs. And in the arts, it's already happening. And so we need to really, truly support human created content for the people, by the people. That's what we need. And what else? I think that's about it. That's about it. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I love you all. Thank you for over $1,000 raised, 55 donations.